Herring's Guiding Symptom is always a very good book for student, because beyond the symptom there are small clinical hints of Herring. There are small clinical cases of Herring which is being given in the book. So, that will really help you to further confirm what you have already underlined. Then go and read the red line symptoms of Lippi for the same remedy, and then try and read Dunham's Materia Medica, followed by the Materia Medica written by Pulford. When you read the same remedy from all these people, try and make a note of what each of this author had said repeatedly, or has given a lot of importance in their lectures. Then you forget the book and only study those notes which you have underlined. And this underlined notes then becomes a very important feature of the remedy. Now, if you have a facility of a program like what I use in my practice, the radar and the repertory synthesis. Now, go back to the repertory, go back to the program and try and see whatever you have read, is it there in the repertory? What is the advantage of this? Let us talk about Kali Carb. You read in Kali Carb that if the meals are not served on a fixed time, the person becomes extremely angry and irritable. So, you go to the section of mind and look under excitement. And under excitement, you look when hungry, and you will see over here Kali Carb. And then you will see the advantage. And what is the advantage? The advantage is that there are no other remedies along with Kali Carb. That means that this symptom of Kali Carb is so important that it is not being shared with any other remedy of Materia Medica. So, this is the advantage of looking at the repertory. The second advantage is that you will be very easily able to assess the repertory, and you exactly know this rubric is given in which place. So, that enhances your knowledge of repertory, that enhances your knowledge of the Materia Medica. So, repertory should be used once you have made the notes from the Materia Medica, and then you start confirming the same notes in the repertory. And then the last stage comes, and this stage is when you start seeing the patients. When you start seeing the patients, the knowledge that you have gained as a student will definitely help, but as you start practicing and as you start treating patients and as you start getting results, it is very important to select those cases where a patient has been cured or a patient has got a substantial relief from your prescription, where only one remedy was used and the symptoms disappeared and did not return back. Collect some cases like that, and if it is a common remedy that is being given to all these cases, study those cases, because those cases are a very important source of clinical Materia Medica for that particular medicine. And so, every physician has a chain of cured cases, especially physicians who are more than 5 years old in their practice, 10 years old in their practice. They may be having lot of cases. You can study from those cases, and then you may add these cases, add this material in the repertory as an addition if it is a very reliable addition, and that is how your Materia Medica enlarges. So, this is how in nutshell I have explained to you. Now, let us see how do we study the diagnostic method of Herring, which I had just introduced to you. Now, Herring created a method where he said a remedy has to be studied in group. Now, this group is based on what? How do we classify them? Herring did two major classification. He said one classification I would like to do on the kingdoms, that is the remedies belonging to the same kingdom. That is one way. But another way of diagnostic method which Herring preferred more than the kingdom was that a remedy having a similar symptoms being shared by another remedy, but it may not belong to the same kingdom at all. Like citrus lemoni, a very small remedy in homeopathic materia medica, but citrus lemoni can become a very useful remedy in comparison with sepia, because it shares some similar symptoms with sepia. And what is the symptom? Aversion to domestic duty. Aversion to domestic duty is a symptom which is very characteristic of sepia, and it is being shared by citrus lemoni. Herring preferred this method of diagnostic method. Now, why use the word diagnostic, Herring? Because he says that this tries to help you to diagnose the symptoms of the remedy. And what are the diagnosis of the symptom of the remedy? When you compare these two remedies or when you study these two remedies together, it helps you to diagnose the symptom aversion to domestic duty. So, next time when you study this rubric, let us say over here aversion, look over here, sepia is a 3 marks remedy, but over here if you see citrus lemoni is also a 1 mark remedy for aversion to domestic duty. Now, when you study these together as a rubric, you will also see that sepia shares the same symptom with nux vomica, and nux vomica and sepia are complementary in many aspects in their symptomatology. Similarly, if you look over here sepia and if you go over here to lycopodium, there are many digestive symptoms of sepia and lyco which are easily comparable to each other. So, this is what in short is the diagnostic method which Herring tried to introduce. When Farrington learned about this method, he was happy to learn about this method, but Farrington preferred to group materia medica according to kingdoms. So, when you learn materia medica by Farrington, you will see that he starts teaching his students materia medica according to the kingdoms, where he divides remedies prepared from a particular kingdoms and then compares one kingdom with another kingdom. So, with this, let us take an example of a very common remedy which we use in our day-to-day practice, and that is sepia.